Everybody, welcome to the 49th annual Firecracker Classic. Mike Fell, Oliver Fell with you. We bring you game 4 of day number 4 of the Firecracker Classic, and this is a pivotal, very important game in the grand scheme of this tournament as the Pinnacle Bank Papillion-La Vista team from the Omaha area comes in with a record of 3-1 in pool play. This is their final game in pool play, and for the Missoula Mavericks, it's also their final game in pool play. They come in 2-2, coming off a blowout victory over the Post 22 Hard Hats, the host and the defending champions of this tournament last night, behind the strong right arm of Easton Reimers, where the Missoula Mavericks stand as they are 2-2 in pool play. They are in a must-win situation. They're going to need some help, but they can help themselves. We'll get to the lineups in a moment. There was a strikeout. Now there's a throw. Out at first base. We'll get to the lineups. 2 up, 2 down quickly as Missoula, Carter Taylor and Brennan Lab are retired by way of a strikeout, retiring Carter Taylor, and a ground out, retiring Brennan Lab. Now Sam Matisich is up to bat. Let's go ahead and go get to this at bat, as that ball is fouled directly at us, but it hits the highest part of the netting, and we have strike 1. On the mound for Pinnacle Bank, I didn't get the starter in the lineup. He wasn't listed. We'll try to get his number and identify him momentarily.
That's
it's number
odd.
8. It is odd. There's a second pitch to Sam.
Oh, geez, it's their ace, the Nebraska commit, Brett Holscher.
Brett Holscher, the ace for Pinnacle Bank, on the mound for this big game. There's a fly out to center field, called for and caught for out number 3. So there's a 1-2-3 inning for the future Husker, young man headed to play for the Big Ten tournament champion Nebraska Cornhuskers next year in Lincoln. Brett Holscher able to retire the side in order. We'll get to the starting lineups momentarily. We want to set the stage for this game clearly. So Bellevue West, they took a giant step towards reaching the Firecracker Classic championship game with a split today and a victory 16-3 over the South Kingstown, Rhode Island team in a game we just had for you on Hard Hats TV. The Thunderbirds from Bellevue West in the Omaha area are in the clubhouse, you might say, with a pool play mark of 4-1. They finished at 80% winning percentage. Now, what that leaves open is maybe who's going to join them at 4-1. This is a big game because if Pinnacle Bank Papillion, behind their ace on the mound, can get to 4-1, then that puts Post 22 in a position where they're going to have to sweep the doubleheader coming up in game 5 and 6.
And win it low scoring.
And they're going to have to keep the score down and hope that they keep the scoring low enough to be able to get into the top 2 for tomorrow's championship game. Now for Missoula, they're still a part of this. If they can get to 3-2 with the win over Pinnacle Bank, and they can get some assistance from the final 2 games of the night, then the possibility exists that Mavericks could get in at 3-2, according to Oliver Fell's unofficial but diligent calculations. So here we go. There were no runs, no hits, no errors recorded in the top of the first inning. Finn Davis, the outstanding closer for Missoula, on the mound, making the start against Pinnacle Bank in his first pitch. The fastball is outside to Easton Snyder. We're just underway, beginning the bottom of the first inning. There's a ball hit to center. What a catch made in center field by Carter Taylor robs Easton Snyder of a base hit with a diving grab to record the first out in this inning.
Hang a star.
I'll put a little star there. Easton Snyder robbed by Carter Taylor in center field. Just a beautiful catch coming right towards our camera. He makes the grab. Now Alex Imig is the hitter. The umpire is pausing the game, I think allowing Carter Taylor to kind of regroup after that catch and get back in position, waiting for the first pitch. We'll get to the starting lineups momentarily. We just jumped right into game 4 here. Game's moving along, and thankfully we have no threat of inclement weather to give us our typical,
despite it being 2,
rain delay that we usually receive this time of the day in Rapid City this time of year. There's a foul ball back to the pavilion. Looks like we have a couple of kids and some girls this time chasing after the loose balls, foul balls. Here comes the 1-1 pitch to Alex Imig. That's outside for ball 2. For Pinnacle Bank Papillion, they come in 3-1, as I mentioned, in pool play. They are in a win and they're in situation, according to Oliver's calculations. A lot to play for Pinnacle Bank. They are in their traditional maroon and gold. They're in Papillion Monarchs colors. And Alex Imig waits for the 2-2 pitch from Finn Davis from Missoula. Here comes a pitch, and that's a base hit to left field. Imig got the pitch he was looking for and took care of business. He's aboard with 1 out here in the home half of the first inning. For Pinnacle Bank Papillion, Easton Snyder is the second baseman. He's leading off. Alex Imig, the number 2 hitter, who just got a hit a moment ago. He's playing shortstop, batting second. Here comes Tanner Apgar, the number 3 hitter. He can hit the ball a ton. And he swings hard through the strike zone, as we have witnessed a number of times in the last couple of days. Tanner playing first base, batting third. In the cleanup spot, it's left fielder Trent Levecki. He's the left fielder playing third base, batting fifth. Parker Ingram, he's had a great tournament with several triples. Apgar fouls a pitch away, and count is now 1-1. Batting sixth, it's catcher Ryan Thompson. Hitting seventh, designated hitter Evan Eddy. Batting eighth, it's right fielder Caden Sterling. And batting ninth, center field Aiden Vodica. So for Pinnacle Bank, it's Snyder, Imig, Apgar, Levicki, Ingram, Thompson, Eddie, Sterling, and Vodica. And Brett Holscher, is it Holscher?
Holscher. There's an L.
Yeah, Brett Holscher is on the mound, already off to a fast start, recording 3 quick outs to begin the ball game. And Brett is headed to Nebraska to play for the legendary Will Bolt next baseball season. Here's the starting lineup for the visiting team in this ball game, the 2-2 Missoula Mavericks. Center fielder Carter Taylor leading off. Batting second, right fielder Brennan Lab. Hitting third, Sam Matisich, the third baseman. In the cleanup position, it's left fielder Chris Compton. Batting fifth, first baseman Easton Reimers. Hitting sixth, the designated hitter in today's game, Coulter Nicolaarson. Batting seventh, shortstop Colin Boyce. Apgar slaps the ball, knocked down by the third baseman. He gets to his feet, fires, and completes the second out of the inning. Good play right there by the third baseman for Missoula, and that is Sam Matisich, an outstanding ball player. Hitting eighth for Missoula is catcher Jace Bakary, and batting ninth, it's second baseman Henry Wilson. So for the Mavericks, it's Taylor, Lab, Matisich, Compton, Reimers, Nicolaarson, Boyce, Bakary, and Wilson. And again, Finn Davis on the mound. 2 down with a man at second now with Alex Imig in scoring position. Pitch to Levicki. Levicki flies out to the center fielder to end the first inning. Well, it was an efficient and solid start for Finn Davis for Missoula and for Brett Holscher, the ace headed for the Big Ten Conference next year for Pinnacle Bank Papillion. There were no runs in the bottom of the first inning for Pinnacle Bank. There was one hit, there were no errors, and there was one man left on second base. We've played an inning in game 4 of day 4 of the 49th annual Firecracker Classic. Missoula and Papillion scoreless after 1.
Yeah, this is an interesting thing, but Sam Matisich, absolutely incredible out there. We've seen Missoula play some incredible defensive games here in this tournament. The pitching, when it's there, able to work, it's been backed up really well. It just really comes down to who's pitching. Finn Davis, their closer, being looked on to go for quite some distance here. I don't know how much he has in the tank, but if he can go at least 5, I feel like they've got a really solid chance, even with Holscher on the mound. I saw Holscher. I was looking, and I'm like, I was looking at the commitments, and I realized there are 2 JUCO guys that are not on this team. Kyle Prever and Isaiah O'Brien, and then an Oklahoma State commit, Danny Wallace, that didn't play summer. And I was like, Holscher can't be on this team. I don't see him anywhere. And he actually was on the program, and I'm like, maybe he is here. And I was starting to think he didn't make the trip.
Here we go. Holscher's first pitch over for a strike. Swing and a miss. Chris Compton, Easton Reimers, and Coulter Nickel-Larsen due up. Reimers, by the way, getting some Division I attention for his dominant pitching, and we saw Easton Reimers, who we understand is the son of a big league ball player from the 1990s, pitching extremely well in the victory over the Post 22 Hard Hats last night. There's a low pitch. Count goes to 2-0 to Compton. Felt badly for not remembering Easton Reimer's father because he played for Kansas City in the 90s, and I used to keep score and listen to Kansas City Royals games all the time during the 90s. Count is 2-2. So if you're out there, Mr. Reimers, I, as a Royals fan, feel a little sheepish. My memory recalls Craig Paquette more than it remembers you. Here comes the 2-2 pitch now to Chris Compton. The reason I remember Craig Paquette so well from the 90s Royals is he hit a grand slam in the Sonic Slam inning. There's a wild pitch.
Like one of those
there's
things.
A grand slam in the 6th inning of a Royals game, somebody who signs up at a Kansas or Missouri Sonic wins like $50,000 or something like that.
Well, the odds were very low.
So Craig Paquette made somebody very happy one day. I never forget Craig Paquette. He also played for the Padres. That helps me remember him too. There's a walk as Chris Compton will jog down to first base, and that's the first base runner of the game for the Missoula Mavericks. Missoula has a penchant for having that big inning. If there's one team in this field that can keep the line moving and moving and moving like a spinning merry-go-round or carousel, it's this Missoula Mavericks ball club. There's a pitch off the bat of Easton Reimers. Reimers showed bunt, and he bunts the ball foul to the right of the first base line. Chris Compton's at first base, nobody out. We're in the top of the 2nd inning. If Pinnacle Bank wins, they are in. They're going to be in a championship game.
If they lose, okay, an asterisk here. If they win, but the game's like 9-8, there could be a little suspense. But if they keep it under 6, they should be fine.
Thanks, Oliver. Here comes the 1-1 pitch to Easton Reimer from Brett Holscher. Holscher with a pickoff throw. So Holscher is tall, powerful, and left-handed. And if you were going to ask the Greek gods to come down from Mount Olympus and set a human being up for success, long-term success and marketability, that's exactly what you do. You'd make them tall, strong, and left-handed. Here's a throw down to second, and Compton steals a base and becomes the first Missoula Maverick to enter scoring position in today's game. We've got a little bit of cloud cover all of a sudden. It was bright and sunny, no clouds in sight. My phone says there's a chance of rain tonight. Oh, my phone's wrong. It's wrong all the time. Here comes a throw on the edge of the strike zone, and that's going to be strike two.
When the clouds form in the blink of an eye, how can you really blame your phone?
Good point. Black Hills here in Rapid City have a way of making their own weather. It's really remarkable. There's a swing and a miss, strike three, and Reimers becomes Brett Holscher's second strikeout victim in as many innings. And now here comes Coulter Nicolarsson. It's been a lot of fun for Oliver and I getting to spend time around Coulter's grandparents from the Sheridan, Wyoming area. Nicolarsson waits for the first pitch from Holscher. Nicolarsson batting in the number 6 spot for Missoula. Here comes a pitch. That pitch is outside for ball one. Oliver, you always have plenty of interesting family connections. Sports-wise, the most fascinating one is your relation to your great-grandfather, who was in the LSU Hall of Fame. There's a outside pitch. Count goes to 2-0. Mike Chambers was a longtime college football trainer for the Bayou Bengals in Baton Rouge for the LSU Tigers. Before that, he played with the Four Horsemen at Illinois in the 1920s, and he also was a trainer at the Ohio State University in college football. There's a pitch, ball hit deep to the left center power alley. There's a dive. Did he make the catch? No, he did not. And that's going to bring home Chris Compton with the first run of the game. Chance for a triple, and he gets the triple. Coulter Nicolarsson with the triple to bring in the first run of the game. Compton crosses home plate. Nicolarsson with an RBI, and Brett Holscher, the Pinnacle Bank Papillion ace, finds himself in an uncharacteristic position, trailing in a game, a big game, such as this. Here comes the next hitter, Colin Boyce. He hits it hard, and it goes all the way to the wall over the right fielder's outstretched glove. And this looks like back-to-back triples, and it will be. Colin Boyce hits a triple.
There's the inning.
With back-to-back triples, I sensed a big inning could happen today.
And here it is. This is going to keep going as well.
Nicolarsson crosses home plate. Colin Boyce now in the bottom of the order doing heavy damage to the future Cornhusker ace, Brett Holscher. Now Jace Bacari is the Bicari is the batter. Jace trying to keep the line moving, and boy, nothing keeps things moving like bases clearing triples, and that's what we have seen the last two at bats. Here comes a pitch. That ball is up the middle.
There it is.
That's an RBI. Jace keeps the line moving. And when Missoula gets rolling, they're like an avalanche. They're like a rock that gathers no moss. And they can many times get their pitcher that opposes them to say no moss, but by the time the inning is over. So now it is 3-0 in favor of Missoula. If you're a post-22 Hard Hats fan, you're loving this right now, because what you want is an open door where if the Hard Hats can win their doubleheader against Pueblo Azteca and Omaha Skutt tonight, they would join Bellevue West in the championship game of the Firecracker at 4-1 in pool play tomorrow at 4:30. that much of the playoff picture, I do know.
Mm-hmm.
So great start for Missoula, and even better start, one may contend, for the post 22 Hard Hats, as Missoula has jumped out in front 3-0 here in the top of the second inning.
I could see
Here
Aaron
at
Roach.
Fitzgerald Stadium.
I could see Aaron Roach and Hayden Hollick on the concourse watching intently.
There's a throw from first down to second, and picked off base is Jace Bakari. That'll be a caught stealing 3-4 put out for the second out of the inning, and Henry Wilson will now continue his at bat with no one on base. But what an inning it has been for the Missoula Mavericks, who have their closer Finn Davis on the hill, and off to a good start for Missoula. You talk about a contrast of uniforms in this tournament. For Missoula, they are as classic in their appearance as any team could be, with that calligraphy M, and just a very classy navy blue white, almost New York Yankees color scheme.
It's a two-color jersey as well.
That's a good point. There's pitch outside, and then there's Omaha Scott Catholic, Arbor Bank Scott Catholic, the Skyhawks, and they have the most unique uniforms, slow pitch softball style uniforms you've ever seen. There's a pitch over for strike 3. So Holscher able to get a pair of Ks, but that was not the inning he was looking for. It sure was for Missoula. Missoula scores 3 runs, all earned, on a total of 3 hits, including a pair of triples. There were no errors, and there were no men left on base. Through an inning and a half here in Rapid City, South Dakota, it's the Missoula Mavericks from Big Sky Country 3 and the Pinnacle Bank Papillion-La Vista team from the Sarpy County part of Omaha, nothing. This is Hard Hats TV.
There it was. It was a little bit abbreviated to normal, but 3 runs come in. A pair of bases clearing triples. We've got several of the Hard Hats here at the moment, watching very intently. I see Hayden Hollick, Phillip Bentz, Josh Elder, and Aaron Roach, to name a few, that are out here sitting down, intently watching this, rooting for the team that beat them last night.
And I'm sure some of the Hard Hats are also watching this broadcast. And hey, Hard Hats, we love you guys. Here we go. Parker Ingram, Ryan Thompson, Evan Eddy due up here in the bottom of the second inning. So can Pinnacle Bank respond to that 3-run barrage, that triples brigade put on by the bottom of the order for the Missoula Mavericks moments ago? Mike Fell, Oliver Fell with you. Game 4, day 4 of the Firecracker Classic, edition number 49. Here comes a pitch from Davis. Ball hit hard to center field. Center fielder has a beat on it, and Carter Taylor makes the catch in center for the first out of the second inning. Ryan Thompson now due up. Thompson, the catcher for Pinnacle Bank. Pinnacle Bank, by the way, they're in Nebraska, they're in Colorado, and they're in Wyoming. They are not, however, in South Dakota. There is a high pitch. Ball goes to a 1-0 count. Pinnacle Bank has been a proud supporter of Husker athletics for a long time, and they have the Pinnacle Bank Arena where Fred Hoiberg's outstanding Nebraska Cornhuskers basketball team plays. There's a grounder to short, throw to first in time for the second out of the inning. Good play there at short by Colin Boyce for the Missoula Mavericks. At Pinnacle Bank Arena, most Husker basketball fans call it PBA. And Husker basketball, very proud program, but it still remains the only power conference program to never win an NCAA tournament basketball game. And that continued this year when Texas A&M destroyed Nebraska in the first round of the Big Dance. Evan Eddy now the hitter for Pinnacle Bank. Papillion. Comes a pitch. It's low. My dream isn't just for Nebraska to win an NCAA tournament game in my lifetime, but for longtime Nebraska basketball play-by-play man, and I mean very long time Nebraska play-by-play man. There's a hit for Evan Eddy into center field.
Nick Larson almost got it.
Nick Larson made a good effort there at second base to try to come up with that ball, but Kent Pavelka, who has been the voice of Husker basketball since the 1970s, he is in his 80s now, I believe, and you just hope before he heads somewhere different that he is able to witness a Husker basketball game where they win an NCAA game.
They're trending in the right direction. They got a good transfer in there. Berke Bjuktinsel from UCLA.
They have been in the right direction a lot of times, though, especially under Danny Nee in the 90s, and just never been able to get that NCAA win. They even lost as a 3 seed in the 1991 NCAA tournament to Pete Gillen's Xavier Musketeers. Not your average 14 seed, I might add. Here comes a 1-1 pitch now to Caden Sterling.
Davis just kind of stands there for a while.
Finn Davis? Yeah, just kind of says, oh, okay, I'm not going to throw.
Well, no, he got the time called.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah.
I didn't see the time.
The time got called. But he just kind of stands there, looks at you. Something's going on in his head, but you can't see it.
Here comes the pitch to Sterling, and that's going to be a hit by pitch. Ball hits him on the thigh. And Sterling will take a base. Eddy moves ahead to second, and now Aiden Vodica comes up representing the tying run here in the bottom of the second with 2 on, 2 out. Mike Oliver Fell with you here with our Firecracker Day 4 coverage on Hard Hats TV. I know we have a lot of Hard Hats fans watching in, hoping Missoula can hang on and win this game and open the door for Post 22 to get to the championship tomorrow. Here comes a pop-up, and that's going to be caught by Nick Larson for the final out of inning number 2, and that is a good piece of pitching by Finn Davis to get the 9-hole hitter for Pinnacle Bank Papillion and retire the side with no runs allowed. In the bottom of the second inning, there were no runs. There were 2 hits. There was 1 hit. There was a player hit, too. There were no errors, and there were 2 men stranded. We go to the 3rd inning here in this I just need to give up saying that word.
This is really important game.
Very important swing game in this Firecracker Classic between Missoula and Pinnacle Bank Papillion. Missoula 3, Pinnacle Bank Papillion nothing. This is Hard Hats TV.
Looking at the tournament leaderboards, despite only playing in 4 games, actually only playing in 2 games, despite only playing in, or no, it would be 3 games. In 3 games, Sam Matisich has a commanding lead in the RBI category. Despite the fact that a team like Pinnacle, or that Bellevue West just put up 16, and they've been on top of everybody for quite some time. The best they have, a 5 RBI guy. Matisich has, does he have one in this game yet?
Yes.
No, he does?
No.
Okay, well, he has 8 RBIs. He's lapping the competition with even less games played.
Missoula, top of the order, coming to the plate in the 3rd inning, begins with a fly out to left field for out number 1. Making the catch for Pinnacle Bank in left field was Trent Levicki. Trent's had a great tournament. Trent had a pair of outstanding outfield assists, gunning down runners in the first game of the tournament for Pinnacle Bank Papillion. If you can remember those, Oliver, those were games in which Levicki played center field, and he was tremendous with his throws from the outfield to home plate. And those were huge outs in a game in which Pinnacle Bank trailed at one point 5-3. I believe it was to Pueblo Azteca, if I'm recalling that correctly. I'm trying to remember who that game was against on Thursday. I'm sure you have the results there. Was it Scott?
I think it was Scott. On Thursday?
The first day of the tournament was Wednesday.
Wednesday. No, it was Premier.
Okay, against Premier
wait,
West.
Are we talking about Pinnacle or Missoula?
Yeah, Pinnacle Bank. When Levicki had those 2 outfield assists and
that's
like
Rhode
a 10
Island.
to 5.
Rhode Island.
Oh, it was against Rhode Island. Okay. Count is now full to Brennan Lab. Brennan Lab, pretty good pitcher in his own right. Waits for the 3-2 pitch from Brett Holscher, and that's ball 4.
He's a walk merchant.
Brett Lab able to get on base via a base on balls. Brett Holscher, he would step right out of central casting as a left-handed ace, but he is not having a good start to this ball game, giving up 3 hits, 3 runs.
Hey, maybe they hit lefties. Lee Negebauer got blown apart last night.
Well, let's not go with blown apart.
Well, yeah, he was hit hard.
We're also
that was a league high
defensive miscues last night too.
It was a season high runs allowed. I'll say that.
Okay.
And he's our left-handed ace.
You can say that. We have a conference on the mound now as Ryan Thompson comes out to talk to starting pitcher Brett Holscher. This is Holscher's first appearance here at the Firecracker Classic. Really a must-win game for Pinnacle Bank. They currently trail 3-0. We're in the top half of the 3rd inning. Sam Matisic, very dangerous hitter at the plate. Matisic hit a moonshot over not only the fence in left field, but the second layer of advertising in left field on Thursday. One of 4 home runs hit in this tournament, I believe.
Just 3.
Just 3 tournament. 3, okay. But without a doubt, Matisic with the longest home run.
Yeah.
Here in this tournament. In addition to his 8 RBIs, is Oliver.
Braxton Vale hit like a 400-foot foul ball that one time.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But it was well foul and definitely not a home run.
And Matisic hits this ball hard. It's playable in center, and it's going to be caught. Great catch in center field on the run by Aiden Vodka.
He got turned around at the end there, too. Had to do it while spinning and making the catch.
Impressive. Aiden, thankfully for Pinnacle Bank Papillion, was playing extremely deep. Chris Compton, now the hitter, the cleanup man in the lineup for Missoula, making their 25th straight appearance in this tournament. And there's a runner picked off first, and that's out number 3 down the line at second. Brennan Lab caught napping, perhaps, as the left-handed pitcher, Brett Holscher, had a good look at the fact that the base runner had taken a lead or lost his bearings between the space between himself and first base. So that's going to be a caught stealing pickoff. We'll call it a 1-3-4 out on the bases. Let's recap the top half of inning number 3. There were no runs scored by Missoula. There were no hits. There were no errors, and there was no one left on base after that out at second a moment ago. Through 2.5 innings of play here at Fitzgerald Stadium in Rapid City, it's Missoula 3, Pinnacle Bank Papillion nothing. This is Hard Hats TV coverage of the Firecracker Classic.
Well, that is a incredible piece of outfield play there from Vodka. That ends up saving a run effectively. He went back on it, could only barely reach it, and had to move across his body, shift his shoulders, and spin in the midst of the play, trying not to fall over as well while backpedaling. It was a very impressive catch out there from Vodka, saving a run.
We now bring you to the bottom of the third inning. There's a smash right at first base. That'll be a one pitch, one out scenario. Good play made right there by Easton Reimers to retire the leadoff hitter, Easton Schneider. So Easton retires Easton. Don't know if the aluminum bat was made by the Easton Bat Company or not. That's out number one. Now here comes Alex Imig. Comes a pitch from Finn Davis. That pitch is over for strike one. Everybody thinks about the Louisville Slugger, but Easton makes a lot of bats. Comes a pitch to
As does
Alex
Rollins.
Imig. And there's a chop back to the screen. Count quickly moves to no balls and two strikes. Finn Davis, he's got good stuff. And he definitely projects confidence. If you're a Missoula Mavericks fan, a Post 22 Hard Hats fan, you like who you see on the mound right now. Here comes the 0-2 pitch from Davis. That ball lifted foul into the Missoula Mavericks bullpen area. And the count remains at no balls and two strikes. Well, we have a doubleheader coming up tonight. Oliver Fell will have all the play-by-play action for you as the Post 22 Hard Hats host Pueblo Azteca. There's an outside pitch for a ball. And, well, they're going to say he committed and actually committed a strike, and the tag cements a strikeout. So that is the first strikeout of the game for Finn Davis as Alex Imig takes a left turn towards the Papillion dugout. Now here comes Tanner Apgar. Apgar with a lot of power. Here comes a pitch from the right-hander Finn Davis. That's high for ball one. Apgar, big, strong batter that likes to really generate some torque through the strike zone.
He's a big swing and miss guy too, though, just like that.
There's a pitch, and that is a swing and a miss. Some would. Yep, he does have that aspect. He is all in, and that sometimes means all or nothing.
He reminds me of Tate.
Comes the 1-1 pitch. That ball lifted high, extremely high. Called for by the shortstop and caught by shortstop Colin Boyce for a 1-2-3 inning. And Finn Davis, he is off to the races in this one. Staked to a 3-0 lead after 3 innings of play. In the bottom of the third inning, there were no runs, no hits, no errors, no men left on base. We go to inning number 4 in this 7-inning contest. The huge pivotal swing game here in day 4 of this Firecracker Classic. It's looking up not only for Bellevue West, Missoula, and Post 22 at the moment, with Missoula on top 3-0, and the Spencer Davis Gang song being played between innings. This is Mike Fell along with Oliver Fell, and this is Hard Hats TV.
It looks like we got more or less the whole squad out here watching the game. Got a little wave there.
We like these guys.
Yeah. Tate Crossway waving at us. Everybody out here sitting in the stands enjoying what is probably our best weather day of. I mean, I'm gonna jinx it, but this has been the best weather day. It's a really nice day to just sit outside. It feels like room temperature outside, even with a little bit of breeze on you here at the ballpark. And they're all rooting for one team.
Yep, they sure are. They want back-to-back Firecracker titles, and the Post 22 Hard Hats are looking for their second tournament championship of the season. They are your 2024 Pueblo Azteca champions, winning that fine classic down in southern Colorado in that extreme heat where you went down and broadcast the games in your home state, Oliver.
Didn't really feel like my home state. I belong to a different part of Colorado.
All right, Missoula leads things off with Chris Compton still batting. He was left in the batter's box with that final out being recorded on that pickoff play about 10 minutes earlier. Chris Compton waits for the second pitch. That's over for a strike. I love umpires who give you that big loud yell, and that's what we got right there. Here comes the pitch. That ball is chopped towards the second baseman, scooped up, flipped to first in time for the leadoff out being recorded. And you can just sense it now that Holscher is settling down. Brett Holscher for Papillion-La retiring most of the last couple hitters he's faced since giving up 3 runs in the top of the second. That's one of the things about Missoula. They'll sting you and sting you hard when they can.
They see an opening and they go all in.
They may not come back and sting you again, but when they hit you, they hit you. And Pinnacle Bank is going to have to work out of a 3-0 deficit hole in these final 4 innings. We're in the top of the 4th. It's Missoula 3, Pinnacle Bank Papillion nothing. Here comes Easton Reimers now to bat. Reimers getting scouted by a Summit League baseball institution, we're told last night. He certainly had to have impressed the coaching staff that came to watch him play. So swing and a miss. Count goes to 2-2 now to Reimers. Reimers, described by Chris Stratton, the play-by-play man for the Missoula Mavericks video broadcast in the booth right next to us, said last night that his father was a legacy major leaguer, that
Cameron
Reimers that played for the Cincinnati Reds and the Kansas City Royals back in the 90s. Here comes the 3-2 pitch from Holscher. That's a swing and a miss, strike 3, and that's the 4th K of the ball game for Holscher. And now there's 2 up, 2 down for Coulter Nicolarsson, who had a key triple to drive home the first run of the game in the person of Chris Compton 2 innings earlier. Nicolarsson digs in, waits for the left-hander's pitch. Holscher fires to home plate. That's over for strike 1. Holscher really painting the outside black at the moment.
Nowadays it's white.
Well, actually, you're right. But the term is from the old days.
Yeah.
Here's a
nowadays the outline of the at bats of the strike zone's white.
I know. Here comes the 1-1 pitch now to Holscher. Or to Nicolarsson from Holscher. That's a swing and a miss, strike 2. And I've seen Holscher really fool some of the hitters for Missoula. Seems as though he's moved into his off-speed pitches with some regularity. And there's a ball that's hits the on-deck hitter, Colin Boyce, on the back. Chopper, I don't think it hurt Colin too much. He's laughing about it, he's smiling. He was probably alone with his thoughts, and then suddenly he was accompanied by a baseball. There's a ball hit from Nicolarsson to the pitcher, who underhand flips to first. Apgar records the 3rd out of the inning, and that'll do it. 1-3 put out by Coulter Nicolarsson makes it a 1-2-3 inning for Missoula, and a very fast-moving ball game with significant championship ramifications in the balance. There were no runs, no hits, no errors, no men left on base. We go to the bottom of the 4th inning. We're halfway through game 4 and day 4. Game number 22 of our 29-game tournament presentation on Hard Hats TV. It's Missoula 3, Pinnacle Bank Papillion coming up, looking for their first run of the game. This is Hard Hats TV.
So, for those of you wondering, that is old, but there we go. We still have 2 more games left to go. This is the third to last game of pool play. That's why it's so big at the moment. It'll depend on how it works, but Pueblo Azteca is still in this thing because they need a Missoula win right now, and they need the Hard Hats to get beat by them. Then they might have a lower number, which at the moment Missoula's number a lot lower, 4 runs allowed, as they're pitching 3 shutout innings. But then Scott, anyways, you need one of the 2 teams to lose, and you probably want Pueblo to be the one to lose, and then anyways.
Thanks, Oliver. We begin the bottom of the 4th inning. Finn Davis out for his 4th inning of work. Levicki, Ingram, Thompson due up for Pinnacle Bank Papillion, aka Papio. That's what most folks around Omaha call Papillion-La Vista is Papio.
Where's that come from? Just
short for Papillion.
So where's the O from?
Just somebody put an O next to it.
Okay.
There's a swing and a miss. There is a O in Papillion. Second
Where?
to the last
Oh,
letter.
yeah, good point.
There's a swing and a miss. Count 1 and 2. I remember many cold nights at Monarch Stadium when my alma mater, Creighton Prep, played some great Papillion teams back in the 80s.
Almost.
Count is 1 and 2. Pitch by Finn Davis, just missed the plate. Count evens at 2 and 2. It'd be big here for Pinnacle Bank to get a leadoff hitter on base, something they have not been able to do yet this afternoon.
That ball was crushed.
Levicki.
That was like a 320 shot.
Ball a ride just past the Sign Express Buffalo Bison sign and foul territory in left field. Here comes a 2-2 pitch to Levicki. That's outside for ball 3. Now we know Finn Davis is more of a late inning specialist. Let's see how he does his second time through the order, as his pitch count now extends beyond the normal parameters for a relief pitcher. As the starter here in game 5 for Missoula, and there is ball 4. And Levicki will trot down to first base, and you can just feel the energy suddenly coming out of the maroon, gold, and white clad dugout of Pinnacle Bank Papillion players. They are fired up because for the first time in this game, in which they trail 3-0, they have a man aboard with nobody out. Here comes Parker Ingram to hit. He hits the ball to short. Throw to first is in time for out number 1. That's a 6-3 put out. Good play there by Colin Boyce for Missoula. But it does advance the runner. Levicki now here in the bottom of the 4th at second base. And there goes a helicopter headed, I believe, towards Monument Health. Somebody must have needed some life flight attention. Ryan Thompson now set to bat against Finn Davis. Let's hope that person's okay in that helicopter. There's a pitch outside for ball 1. Thompson grounded out his first time up back in inning number 2. I see Braxton Vale over by the light tower checking out the action. Comes a pitch. That ball is hit right at the shortstop. Advances the runner. Bobbled for a moment. Throw to first in time. And Colin Boyce with back-to-back putouts.
I think he stubbed his finger. He's shaking his hand right now.
Well, he was able to tough it out and do his job well. So now there is a runner at third. Levicki's at third base with 2 outs. And here comes Evan Eddy. Eddy had a single his first time up back in the 2nd. One of the only players to get a hit off Finn Davis today. One of only 2 Pinnacle Bank players to get a hit off of starter Finn Davis for Missoula. First pitch is over for a strike for Finn Davis. Can Finn go 4 strong here? without giving up a run. There's
With
a
the
pitch
defense.
outside, and good play there by the catcher, Jace McCary, because if that wild ball got past him, that was going to be the first run of the game allowed to Pinnacle Bank Papillion. There's a pitch outside for ball 2. Let's see if Pinnacle Bank's Evan Eddy can come through and make it a 3-1 or 3-2 ball game. Here comes the 2-1 pitch. Davis taking his time between pitches. Fires, and that ball is fouled just barely by Eddy to stay alive.
Yeah, that was
Count
strike
goes
2.
to 2-2. Oh, that's right. And now we have a little conference, an unexpected conference. When you see a conference around a pitcher that's in that kind of a groove,
they got ideas.
I'm not sure what this is all about. If you see a certain baseball movie, you wonder if it's about somebody's bridal registry and what gifts to get for a teammate.
Offer a fantasy trade.
Or something like that. Here comes a 2-2 pitch now to Evan Eddy. With 2 outs here in the bottom of the 4th. There's a skipped ball that's kept in play just barely by Missoula's Jace McCary, really helping out Finn Davis. He's suddenly wild here, and the count is full with a man at third. Here comes the payoff 3-2 pitch from Davis. And that's over for strike 3. Finn Davis shuts the door with the second strikeout this afternoon. And that strands a runner at third. And man, is that big in this ball game. We have played 4 innings here in Game 4 on Day 4 of the Firecracker Classic. And it's 3-0 in favor of Missoula. There are 3 runs in the top of the 2nd, standing up due to a shutout pitching performance by closer Finn Davis. In the bottom of the 4th inning, there were no runs, there were no hits, there were no errors, and there was one very big potential run stranded on third base. We have played 4 innings of play. It's Missoula 3, Papillion-La Vista nothing. This is Hard Hats TV.
That you were talking about the energy building in the dugout for Pinnacle Bank during that last inning. It was all sucked out and transferred across the diamond on that pitch. Everything went into Missoula's hands, as you can see the catcher just upset, moving around his mask, everybody else just running out with their heads down. That took a lot of momentum away from this Pinnacle Bank squad. That's one of the biggest pitches in the course of this tournament.
Absolutely. It's so great to see the Post 22 Hard Hats watching this game just outside our broadcast booth here at Fitzgerald Stadium in Rapid City. They have a doubleheader coming up, but they're excited because they're seeing their opportunity open up before them. Because if Pinnacle Bank Papillion does not win this game, if they cannot rally and pull this game out, they'll drop to 3-2 in pool play. There's a grounder bouncer to the third baseman.
And they got there.
Whoa! Good play made right there by Papillion-La Vista's Parker Ingram to retire Colin Boyce.
I do think he got there.
I think it was an out.
I could see the outside of things. I just think he did.
Well, Jace McCary now the hitter. Here comes the pitch from Brett Holscher. Holscher has been great with the exception of 1 inning.
That's what happened.
And that inning is the difference in this game. Missoula scoring 3 runs in the top of the 2nd and still holding a 3-0 lead as we begin the 5th inning of play.
You wonder how a team can get shut out by a team's junior squad and then win 11-2. The answer is they didn't have an inning in that first one. They had a few in the second one.
Right. Jace McCary sees another pitch hit the edge of the strike zone. The count moves to 1 ball and 2 strike in favor of the pitcher. Holscher gets his sign, quickly pitches, and it's a swing and a miss. It's on the ground, picked up by the catcher, throw to first in time, and that's the 5th strikeout in 5 innings for Brett Holscher. He has been, as advertised, overall. Just that 1 inning, and that's what Missoula does. Missoula is the king of the big inning. My goodness. There are now 2 down for Henry Wilson. Henry struck out his first time up, and he takes the first pitch, fouls it back to the screen for strike 1. See a fan with a Norway hat on and a Giants jersey. Lee on the back, very colorful. Norwegian ancestors, pioneers, big part of this region's history.
Probably the Nickel Larsons.
That's very true.
It's the right kind of name.
I want to go to Norway someday.
You want to go to fjords? You want to go to the fjords and like see the Northern Circle or something?
I just want to go to Norway.
It's a pretty place.
It seems like my kind of place. I'm 0% Norwegian, but of course my dad, he was an Iowegian. He grew up in Iowa. Known as 1 and 2 now. I guess technically there is not a term Iowegian, but
no.
People in Omaha call Iowans Iowegians. Inside pitch, that's strike 3. 6 strikeouts in 5 innings of work for future Nebraska Cornhusker pitcher Brett Holscher. There were no runs for Missoula in the top of the 5th. There were no hits, no errors, and no men left on base. We've played 4.5 innings here at Fitzgerald Stadium in Rapid City, South Dakota. Missoula 3. Pinnacle Bank Papillion nothing. The Monarchs are due up next, and Finn Davis is out for a 5th inning of work. And I think the big question on everyone's mind right now, Oliver, has to be this, and that is, how deep can Finn Davis go in this ballgame?
It is a really big question. I said before the game when we were getting started that if Finn can go 5, you should be able to win, but it's such a close game. I don't know if that's true anymore. You've got such little room for error. You allow a single rally, a few guys get on by a walk. It's only 3 runs. But the defense is so good. I want to say that, like, you know how they have earned runs? I think that they should have a run save. I think that he should have, like, -2 runs right now because of the defense saving them.
Well said, Oliver. Here we go. Caden Sterling to lead things off. Pinnacle Bank only 1 time in 4 innings, and that was last inning, able to get the leadoff man aboard against Finn Davis. First pitch is outside for a ball. The number 8 hitter leads things off for Pinnacle Bank. Papillion, Caden Sterling, fouls the second pitch back to the screen. This game has the feel of a postseason game. This game really does feel different than the games we had the first 3 days in this tournament. Would you agree with that, Alvin?
Absolutely. This is just both teams playing so hard. They know the stakes, and it's win or nothing.
Here comes the next pitch. It's outside. It goes to 3-1. And again, Missoula has a scenario to reach the championship game against Bellevue West tomorrow. They would need to win and get some help. But they're fighting for their hopes for a championship right now, just like Pinnacle Bank is. The difference is Post 22 is rooting for the 2-2 team in pool play, Missoula, against the 3-1 team in pool play, Pinnacle Bank Papillion.
Yeah, Missoula, with a win here, would set themselves up to effectively be the guys who could sneak in if Post 22 fails to close out the doubleheader.
And when you say close out, you mean sweep the doubleheader.
Yeah.
Not split the doubleheader.
Yeah, no, they have to sweep. But in this situation, Missoula winning would help out the Hard Hats. But if the Hard Hats can't get the sweep, then whoop, coming in is Missoula, unless Pueblo pitches like a really, really good game and wins.
And that's ball 4. That is big. And you can sense the answer to that question about how deep Finn Davis can go now that we're into the 5th inning under
What's he
the
got?
bright sunshine. Davis threw a lot of pitches in that at bat, and he struggled to locate his pitches. He did not look the same as he did the first 4 innings. I know it's only 1 at bat, but nonetheless, the leadoff man, Caden Sterling's aboard, and don't look now, but after Aiden Vodka, who flew out popped up to second base last time up, after this at bat, Pinnacle Bank will face Finn for the 3rd time through, and quickly, here comes the manager to the mound for Missoula. The skipper for Missoula, I think, is thinking just like I am about Finn Davis at this key moment in this big game. And one of the great things about these veteran baseball men is they have a feel for when they need to say something, when they need to make a pitching change. And I don't sense that Finn Davis, even though it's a 3-0 lead, Oliver, I don't think Finn has a very long leash in this situation.
It is. Uh, we just need more good. They just need more good pitching, and if it's going to come from Finn or not, that's the bottom line.
Finn has been that last line of defense as a closer, and here we are in the 5th and final game of pool play, so you wonder how deep Missoula can go. There's a throwback to first, not in time, as Sterling scrambles his way back to the bag. Mike Fell, Oliver Fell with you. Happy you're all making us a part of your Saturday afternoon on this 4th of July weekend. It's kind of odd to call it 4th of July weekend because it's 2 days after the 4th of July, but we had the fireworks display. What a tremendous display Coach Sullivan, everybody put on here with Post 22 last night. It just feels like the holiday weekend. There's a lot of people, quite candidly, took Friday off and made it a 4-day weekend. Here comes the 2-2 pitch now to Vodka, the number 9 hitter. And we've got a little break here, call for time. This is a big pitch. Oh, the count is 3-1, not 2-2. Let's see if this is ball 4. It is! And there are 2 on with nobody out, and Finn Davis seems to have hit the wall, and this will be it for Finn Davis. There is a point from the manager in the direction of an infielder, and I think we're going to have a outfielder or infielder slide over to take the mound and perhaps try to take Missoula home. And listen to this round of applause for Finn Davis. The mighty Finn goes 4 shutout innings, gets a round of applause from the Mavericks fans, and he gave his team a chance to win. He is in position as he leaves to get the win, going 4 innings strong. And here comes Henry Wilson sliding over from the second base position to try to nail down the game.
Nick Larson now takes second.
And Nick Larson will now take second, and that leads to, we'll see who steps in to play short. But Henry Wilson.
No, he wasn't playing short.
I thought he
Boyce was playing short.
Oh, that's right. That's right. He was a DH.
He was DH.
That's right. So Nick Larson, now the second baseman, staying in the number 6 spot in the batting lineup here in the 5th inning. Henry Wilson, now the relief pitcher in relief of Finn Davis. Those 2 men on base belong to Finn Davis. If you're scoring with us, just be aware. Finn Davis goes 4 innings, only strikes out 2 Pinnacle Bank Papillion hitters, but it's the 0 that he put on the board not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 4 times. That's the big story. But that big question as we started the inning was answered in the affirmative, which was, is Finn going to perhaps run out of juice as he gets into the late innings, considering he is the closer and the relief specialist on this Missoula Mavericks ball club. So now here comes Henry Wilson. Don't know much about Henry's pitching numbers or pitching reputation, but he's going to go right into the top of the order, the teeth of the Papillion lineup right here, right now. First pitch is a chopper in front of the plate. Throw to first is in time, and that advances 2 runners, but that does represent the first out of inning number 5. That'll be a 2-3 put out, but Easton Schneider advances Caden Sterling from second to third, Aiden Vodka from first to second, and here comes Alex Imig, 1 for 2 with a single in today's game. Henry Wilson facing a situation with 1 out and 2 men in scoring position, with Missoula holding a 3-2 lead. This game has tremendous amount of suspense attached to it right here. There's a throw over to third. Wilson going with an unconventional attempt to throw to third. I'd be careful if I was Henry. I would just focus on the hitter, but maybe that's just me. Here comes Alex Imig back in the box, waiting for the pitch from right-hander Henry Wilson. That pitch was high above the helmet of Alex Imig, and the count evens at 1-1. And if you're Alex Imig, you're wondering, what's this second baseman have in store for me in relief here? You don't know where that ball is going to go. Here comes a slow curving pitch, just a little high. I love our home plate umpire. He's very good with hand gestures to let a pitcher know why their pitch is outside the zone. Here comes the 2-1 pitch now from Henry. And that pitch is over for strike 2. What a duel we have. Imig, the batter, Wilson, the pitcher, 2 men in scoring position with just 1 out, with Papillion trying to get on the board here in the 5th. There's a ball, it's hit through the hole in the left field, and that scores the first run of the game. And listen to these Papillion Bank players in the home dugout whooping it up as Alex Imig drives in the first run of the game, and it's now 3-1 in favor of Missoula as Caden Sterling crosses home plate. Aiden Vodka is at third, and any type of fly ball or hard contact by Tanner Apgar, and Apgar known for hard contact, could make it a 3-2 game and a 1-run affair here in the bottom of the 5th. Here comes a pitch from Wilson. That's over for strike 1. Tanner Apgar, known for his heavy swinging all-or-nothing swings, waits for the pitch here.
Oh, shoot.
From Wilson.
Oh,
There's
what a great job for Reimers.
And Reimers kept the ball from getting past him.
Hurdles
and that
the man.
would have scored a run for sure.
He hurdled him.
Base.
He jumped over the guy in order to block it.
Whatever it takes, whatever it takes. Here comes Henry Wilson's 0-1 pitch to Apgar. And that ball hit up in the air. Playable, called for by the third baseman, who makes the second out of the inning. Tanner Apgar liked what he saw. As they say, he went for the chocolate mousse. It looked so good, but it was so bad for him. And that's the second out of the inning, as Apgar is the chocolate mousse special of the 5th inning. He loved that pitch, but he popped it up, and Henry Wilson has 2 outs in his pocket with a man at third. Now Trent Levicki, the batter, representing the tying run in this 3-1 ball game. Runners at the corners,
Whoa, that
which
was
actually
very
represents
inside.
the go-ahead run, as Imig is at first and Vodka is at third. 2 out, 2 on. Trent Levicki fouls off the first pitch. Wilson taking his time between pitches and being very aware of the base runners. Here comes a pitch. That ball drilled to left field. That'll bring home a run. And it's 3-2. We've got ourselves a close game here in Rapid City. Levicki drives home Aiden Vodka. And it's 3-2. The two base runners allowed by Finn Davis both score. That closes the book on Finn. He goes 4 innings, gives up 2 earned runs, and he is still the pitcher of record at the moment. 2 on, runners at first and second with 2 outs. Here comes Parker Ingram. Ingram, very dangerous. Had a pair of triples earlier in a game in this pool play at the Firecracker. First pitch over for a strike. And Wilson, he's getting the pitches to home plate, but he's not getting those out pitches that he needs. There's a high fly ball to center. That's caught for the final out in the inning. But Pinnacle Bank does what they have to do. They claw their way back into this game with still innings 6 and 7 yet to be played. That was a must comeback inning for come from behind inning for Pinnacle Bank. They didn't come all the way back, but they did significant damage to Missoula's hopes. It's 3-2 in favor of the Missoula Mavericks in the bottom of the 5th inning. Pinnacle Bank Papillion scores 2 runs, both earned off of starting pitcher Finn Davis. Relief pitcher Henry Wilson does a pretty darn good job just to keep the score in favor of Missoula, but he gives up a pair of singles, RBI singles, to Alex Imig and Trent Levicki. There were a total of 2 hits. There were no errors. There were 2 runs, and there were 2 men left on base. 2 men who drove in runs for the maroon and gold of Pinnacle Bank Papillion. So, Missoula has a 3-2 lead going into the top of the 6th with future Nebraska Cornhusker ace Brent Holscher on the mound, throwing hard and definitely in a groove. Don't know about you, Oliver. I know the score says Missoula, but old lady momentum is seemingly on the side of the team trailing at the moment.
Yeah, and that seems to be the sentiment right now for most of the hard hats, which are looking quite nervous about what's going on here. But the thing is, Missoula, either all or nothing, it feels like they haven't had a hit in a long time.
There's a smash to center, throw to first. Easy does it. As Carter Taylor at the top of the Missoula order is retired with the throw from Alex Imig.
They're going to look to Matisic. He's going to set the tone. If he's not able to get on, it might be trouble.
Brennan Lab now the hitter. Lab waiting for the pitch from Holscher. Holscher winds and fires, and right now Holscher just looks dominant. Dominant with a capital D. He is getting ahead of everybody he's facing and throwing his pitches and throwing them well. Here comes a pop-up to center. That's out number 2. You can see why Haymarket Park will be where Brent Holscher is pitching next year. One thing Brent Holscher gets that Husker baseball players of years past don't get is trips to the West Coast, as there will be 4 new members of the Big Ten in baseball next year.
All right, we'll see how he handles Matisic for a 3rd time.
Sam Matisich, the hitter. Matisich has that power swing. He's capable of a solo home run and a big insurance tally right here. Matisich nails the ball into the power alley all the way to the wall. That could be 3. He's going to put on the brakes and settle for 2. There's a stand-up double for Sam Matisich, who has been, quite candidly, the player of the tournament, as Oliver identified about an hour ago.
It is. I was saying there just a minute ago that that Matisich, when he comes up, it'll decide if he's not able to get on and they remain hitless. It doesn't look very good. He hits on. The hits now available again. It feels like from what they were, and the people behind him, I bet, going to come through.
Chris Compton now the hitter. Compton 0 for 1 with a walk and a run scored back in the second. That was that big inning that Missoula was able to plate 3. Not only did Missoula score 3 runs off of Brett Holscher in the second, that they did not even strand a runner in that inning. It's just how Missoula operates. There's a pitch over for a strike. Count is now 1-1. Give a shout out to Chris Stratton from Missoula, Montana. He traveled a long ways to be here to do the video broadcast of the games for all the Maverick fans, and just appreciate Chris, just a very helpful person. He helped me out in Billings. And Compton gives the ball a ride, and that's going to score a run. Compton with a double will bring in Matisich, and that was unexpected when you consider how Brett Holscher was so dominant.
I called it.
I know the 3-4 hitters, you called it, but I didn't think anybody was going to score a run against Holscher the rest of the way.
No.
But that has happened as Matisich, with back-to-back doubles, able to cross home plate.
I am
to
the
make
Oracle.
It 5 to make it 4-2 in favor of Missoula.
I'm going to call my shot left field gapping single.
With 2 outs now, and this entire rally for Missoula is a 2-out rally. Now here comes Easton Reimers. And the heart of the order for Missoula, Matisich, Compton, and Reimers, they are great. And the lineup for Missoula runs deep. Nicolaarson, Boyce, they've been great today. Here comes the 0-1 pitch to Reimers. And that pitch is fouled off the shoulder of Coulter Nicolaarson. That's the second time in this game that an on-deck hitter for Missoula has been struck by a foul ball.
I don't even think that got him, but it was really close.
Here comes the 0-2 pitch. Holscher, a strike away from keeping this a 2-run game. There's a pass ball. We'll call it a wild pitch that advances Compton from second to third. Count now 1-2. This has really been a fun game. When we decided who was going to call what games today, Oliver, I got pretty excited when I realized this game had so much on the line for both ball clubs. Traditionally, when I'm calling games, it seems like I get exciting close games between
teams there he goes.
That are out of it. There's fair down the line, and it's now back to a 3-run lead for Missoula.
I told you.
3 consecutive doubles. Reimers barely got the ball inside the chalk line, and that scores Chris Compton, and Missoula has done it again. Multiple runs in an inning. You don't see Missoula scattering crooked numbers across the box score, but when they score big, and they get a trifecta of doubles here with 2 outs in the top of the 6th inning to stake themselves back to a 3-run advantage. It's 5-2 in favor of Missoula.
Man, and you can see Aaron Roach, Alex Dietrich, they're all smiles right now. They know what's coming. They've played this game. I was able to see that Matisich was going to set the tone. Once you got a hit off of Holscher, he was vulnerable, and the rest of the guys were going to come through. This might be where it ends, but we'll see.
Coulter Nicolaarson now the hitter, trying to continue the extra base hit parade. Wow, what a bolt from the blue this has been from Missoula. Man alive, this has just been
You always say
remarkable.
you always say that the ace in the rotation is the one who can get you out of a winning streak or get you out of a losing streak.
And Nick Larson with a good cut knocks the ball a long ways foul down the left field line.
Yeah, but you say aces get you out of a losing streak. That's what's so good about them. They're good no matter what. Sam Matisich is the guy who can get them out of a hitless streak. He's the guy who can, when everybody's down, he can still come through.
He is that catalyst. No matter who the opposing pitcher is, he'll find a way. Nick Larson is tagged out after a swing and a miss, and that's the 7th strikeout for Brett Holscher. But no doubt Holscher frustrated because now it's back to a 3-run lead for Missoula, and they only have 2 more trips to the plate remaining in this 7-inning game. But keep in mind, Henry Wilson is on the mound. He is not a consistent part of the pitching rotation or bullpen for Missoula, we understand, and he is going to have to continue to put down the threats from a very strong Pinnacle Bank Papillion team that's over 10 games above the 500 mark and is attempting to get to 4-1 and pull play. To recap, Missoula's 2-run inning punctuated by 3 consecutive doubles. There were 2 runs scored on 3 hits, all of them doubles. There were no errors, and there was 1 man left on third base. And after 5.5 innings of play here in Rapid City, it's Missoula 5, Pinnacle Bank Papillion 2. This is Hard Hats TV. Coming up now for Pinnacle Bank Papillion, it'll be the bottom of the order. Ryan Thompson, Evan Eddy, and Caden Sterling. Ryan Thompson 0 for 2 today. And you would think for Pinnacle Bank Papillion, it's probably pretty simple. Get on base, and only swing at the pitches you want to swing at. And there's a hit by pitch. That'll send Thompson to first. Nope, I guess it wasn't a hit by pitch. It looked like it was. Count is now 1-1. When Thompson came out of the batter's box, it looked like he was struck by an inside pitch from Henry Wilson. There's a swing and a miss. That's strike 2. Henry Wilson trying to get the leadoff hitter here. Missoula 6 outs away from getting the victory. There's a pitch just off the plate. Count even at 2-2.
That was close.
Post 22 Hard Hats, players, fans, coaches, all eyes on this one. Hoping Missoula can beat Pinnacle Bank Papillion and open the door wide open for Post 22 that comes into a doubleheader tonight. 2-1 in pool play. Bellevue West already in the clubhouse, finished up at 4-1. They would clinch a trip to the championship game if this game holds up. So they're obviously rooting for Missoula as well. 3-2 count now to Ryan Thompson. Ryan Thompson, the same name as the Black Hills State basketball coach. There's a grounder to short. Boyce has it. Throw to first in time for the first out in the inning. Thompson retired. And now Henry Wilson will face the bottom of the order, the bottom 3 hitters in the order. Evan Eddy due up. He's 1 for 2 today. Eddy, a left-handed hitter, waits for the right-hander's pitch. We're in the bottom of the 6th inning, and there's an inside-out swing. That's a base hit. That'll trickle into foul territory. That'll be a long single for Evan Eddy. Evan is 2 for 3 in this game.
Man, he
the only player for Pinnacle Bank Papillion that is 2 for 3 on the. I checked that along with Alex Imig. He is one of only 2 players on Pinnacle Bank that's 2 for 3 today.
Yeah, it's interesting because he has not been having like the craziest tournament. He's been had a pretty run of the mill tournament thus far, but turned it on in this game when it mattered most. Those are the kind of guys you want in your lineup down in the order.
Caden Sterling now the batter. Another left-handed bat for Pinnacle Bank, back to back here in the bottom third of the order. Sterling trying to advance a runner. Pinnacle Bank trailing by 3. That first pitch from Wilson over for a strike. Pinnacle Bank down by 3. They still have their ace, Brett Holscher, out there, who's been great, except for 2 outbursts by
Wow, he
Missoula.
just does it again.
There's a throwback to first, and
2
boy,
very
Easton Reimers, he is like a Hoover vacuum at first base. Nothing gets by him. He's playing the position like Steve Garvey or Wally Joyner back in the day.
he has saved 2 errors, like single-handedly on these pickoff
There's
attempts.
another pickoff attempt, and you can sense the high level of trust Henry Wilson has in his teammate Austin Reimers at first base when he makes those quick, lightning-fast pickoff maneuvers. Here comes the 0-1 pitch now, we think, from Henry Wilson. And that is a high check swing for strike 2. Sterling down in the count, 0-2. There's 1 on with 1 out. Missoula on top 5-2. We're in the bottom of inning number 6. Mike Fell, Oliver Fell with you here on Hard Hats TV. Game 4 of day 4 here in pool play. There's a base hit to right field from Caden Sterling, and now the tying run is at the dish, and Aiden Vodka.
What do you think about Eddie being held at second there?
I think it's a good move. It's all about base runners.
Okay.
That's what I do. But I'm an Earl Weaver kind of guy. I am one of those baseball people that, I don't know if I'm a baseball person, I'm a football person, but I'm one of those baseball fans that doesn't like creating dangerous plays when you're down by multiple runs. Vodka really got a hold of that one, but
it's his second time he's
just ball foul.
It's the second time he's killed one down the line.
Vodka trying to advance the runners, but there is 1 out. Henry Wilson filling in for Finn Davis. Finn Davis, the pitcher of record in this game.
Looks like River Walters biting his nails right now. He's a little nervous.
Here comes a pitch from Aiden Vodka. 2 Aiden Vodka from Henry Wilson. That's in the dirt and low, and the count is 1-1. One of the things that's been impressive to me, Oliver, it's been Pinnacle Bank. They have not been forcing things. They've been trailing this whole game, but they have been selective, and they've been very methodical with their approach against Finn Davis and now Henry Wilson. There's a high pitch.
Yep.
Count goes to 2-1.
Signs of a well-coached team.
Absolutely. And both of these teams are well coached, and both of these teams are still alive here in the second half of the final day of pool play in the Firecracker Classic. Here's a pitch. That is going to be strike 2. And the count now moves even. 2-2 the count. 2 men on base with 1 out in a 5-2 ball game. Both of these teams even in terms of number of hits with 6. Neither team committing an error. This has been everything that the Firecracker Classic is all about. Here comes the pitch. Did it catch the corner? No, it did not. And the count goes full. Wow, here comes a big moment in this ball game. 2 on with 1 out, full count. Henry Wilson to Aiden Vodka. The pitch is struck to center, and I think it's playable, and it is. That's the second out, and Wilson wins the battle with Aiden Vodka. And now the potential tying run comes to the plate with the ice-cold Easton Snyder due up. Snyder 0-3 in this ball game, batting with 2 on and 2 out here in the bottom of the 6th inning in a 5-2 game. Easton Snyder, left-handed hitter. Keep in mind, the two men on base for Pinnacle Bank, they batted left-handed against right-hander Henry Wilson. Wilson has struggled against the left-handed bats in the lineup for Pinnacle Bank, not only in this inning, but since he came on the scene in relief of Finn Davis back in the 5th. And now we're going to have a conference as the first pitch is outside the zone for a ball. Well, that was a huge at-bat
we've had
a moment ago, and a big win there for Missoula.
We've had 2 at-bats, the one at the end of the 4th, and then this one here where we have looked at it and said, this could change the game. Missoula has won both of those, and for that reason, I think they will win this game.
I want to thank all of you for watching. Good viewership of this big game. I know a lot of fans are watching, pulling for their team on each side. And some of the people watching are not fans of either team, but they need help, and they want the help that they so desperately need. There's a pitch over for a strike, and Snyder now even in the count 1-1. Snyder wearing the number 1, trying to get on base or perhaps make it a 2-run game, 1-run game, or a tie game with 1 swing.
He is real low on the bat right there.
Snyder waits for the pitch. That pitch is high, and the count works in the favor of leadoff hitter Easton Snyder, who is looking for his first hit of the afternoon. It's a beautiful sunny day, wind coming from the north, going left to right across the ballpark. Flags flapping in the distance. Above the scoreboard, there's a pitch outside and low. It's now 3-1. And Easton Snyder trying to get on base. They're going to say it hit him. Everybody take their base.
Really?
And that will be a hit by pitch. They say it struck his foot area or his lower leg. And now the bases are loaded for Alex Imig, who is swinging a hot bat. And we may have a pitching change as the manager takes a stroll and takes the baseball, and that'll do it. Henry Wilson's going to get a great round of applause. He did his job very well, sliding over from second base and limiting Pinnacle Bank Papillion to just 2 runs. And those 2 runs were not charged, by the way, to Henry Wilson, but the 3 runs on base with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th do belong to Wilson. And here comes Cole Truglio. We've seen Cole play third base in this tournament. Cole Truglio will come on in relief of Henry Wilson out of the visitors' bullpen here at Fitzgerald Stadium.
Well, with Cole specifically, we've found that so he is a high leverage pitching guy. He is not somebody pulled out of the street. He was the guy that they put in to close it out after Reimers was done in the 7th last night against the Hard Hats. He's here to get just a few outs, the same way he did with the Hard Hats. And he didn't allow anybody to get anything last night, so that's good news.
Well, here we go. This is perhaps the ball game. Right here, right now, the bases are loaded. It's a 5-2 game. An extra base hit would clear the bases and tie the game at 5. Bellevue West, they are in the clubhouse with a record of 4-1. They split their games today, but they are 4-1 in pool play. If Missoula wins, Bellevue West is in the championship game no matter what tomorrow. Also, if Missoula wins, the door opens wide for post 22. If they could sweep a doubleheader tonight in the games we'll have for you with Oliver Fell at the mic against Pueblo Azteca and then against Scott Catholic from Omaha tonight. Then post 22, the host school and defending champs will be in the title game against Bellevue West tomorrow at 4:30. Here comes the pitch to Alex Imig from Truglio. That pitch is just off the plate for a ball. On deck is Tanner Apgar. Alex Imig, 2 for 3 today with an RBI single. Truglio gets his sign. Fires home. That pitch is low for ball 2. Remember, a walk's as good as a hit in this situation if you're Pinnacle Bank.
Any
in
hit
this
would bring in
situation,
2.
it brings in a run, though. Here we go. Here's the next pitch to Imig. That is over for a strike, and the count moves to 2 balls and 1 strike. Cole Truglio on in relief of Henry Wilson, who loaded the bases but did record 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th. Truglio with a high kick. That ball hit right at the shortstop, flipped to second in time, and Missoula gets out of trouble and keeps the score at 5-2. How about those Mavericks? The bullpen between Truglio and Wilson holds things together, maybe with a little bit of duct tape, maybe with a little bit of baling wire, but it's enough. And we've got a 3-run game going to the 7th inning for Pinnacle Bank Papillion. They come up empty on the scoreboard. They do load the bases. They leave 3 men on base, and they did record a pair of base hits. But Missoula stays in front by 3 runs, and that's all smiles for Post 22 fans and for Bellevue West Thunderbird fans, as through 6 innings of play, it's Missoula 5 and Papillion 2. There were 3 men left on base, 2 hits, no runs in the bottom of the 6th for Pinnacle Bank Papillion. We go to the 7th inning, the final frame. Brett Holscher back on the mound looking to go the distance. He struck out 7 Mavericks in this game, but the story has been for Missoula, they have put together the hits in clusters, in bunches, that have plated a handful of runs against this future Nebraska Cornhusker hurler. And it is a 5-2 game, and a game in which neither team has committed an error, and both teams have put up half a dozen hits on the afternoon. My name is Mike Fell, joined by Oliver Fell. We bring you the 7th inning. Colin Boyce to lead things off for Missoula, as we will feature the bottom third of the order for the Mavericks.
Do have a little bullpen action.
We do. Holscher fires outside. Count goes to 2-1. Not sure where the pitch count stands for Brett Holscher. He could be pushing the century mark as we work our way into the 7th. That ball is hit hard and deep. Is it going to be caught? No, it will not be. It's knocked down on the run. That'll be a leadoff double for Colin Boyce, and that's his 2nd extra base hit in the game. He had an RBI triple back in the 2nd inning. And now the leadoff man is aboard, and it is looking good for the Missoula Mavericks to not only get a winning record in pool play and stay alive in pool play, but they have a real shot at punching the ticket for Bellevue West to the title game tomorrow afternoon, and opening the door wide open for the Hardhats. There's a grounder handled by the second baseman. That's a wide throw, and that's going to be the first error of the game and a run. And the base runner is going to be tagged out. I think he may have put on the air brakes unintentionally.
No,
but
he
just drives in a run by way of an error assisting him. That's not an RBI, but it'll be a single for Bakari. He is thrown out at second base. That'll be I believe, a 9-4 putout. And Colin Boyce will score all the way from second base with the assistance of the error. And that'll be a single and an error and a run scored for Missoula. And now it's 6-2. That's the largest lead of the ball game for the young men from western Montana who have really accounted themselves very well in the last 24 hours with a blowout victory over Post 22 last night in front of a full house, and now a 6-2 lead here in the 7th against a Big Ten starting pitcher ace for Pinnacle Bank Papillion from Sarpy County, Nebraska today. Here comes a 2-1 count now to Henry Wilson.
Whoa.
And that's a swing and a miss, strike 2.
Wilson's got a smile. He's laughing right now. He swung at a ball that didn't get to the plate.
Well, right now I think Missoula's mind is on getting 3 more outs more than it is scoring another run. There's a swing and a miss, strike 3, and Brett Holscher now with 8 strikeouts. 2 down here in the 7th inning, and barring the unexpected, and I mean very unexpected, it will be single digit but many strikeouts for Holscher in this game. We saw a 10 strikeout performance yesterday. There's a foul ball back to the screen by Carter Taylor. It has been the extra base hits in the 2nd inning, the back-to-back triples, and then 3 consecutive doubles in the 6th that have really been the story for Missoula. And I've seen Missoula play quite a bit this year. Missoula had a 10-run inning that just came out of nowhere in the 4th inning of a win over Post 22 back in Billings in early May. The ball hit foul down the line. In that game, Missoula looked like for a moment they were going to get blown out by Post 22 at Joe Pertz Field in Billings, Montana. And then, boom, Missoula put up 10 runs and went on to pull out a victory over Post 22. And when Missoula scores, they do it in bunches, and sometimes they do it in very explosive ways. Here comes a high pitch that sails back to the screen.
Holscher's on his
now
last
2-2.
Holscher's on the last bits of his energy right now.
Holscher just 1 out away from going the distance in this ballgame, it would appear. Due up in the bottom of the 7th for Pinnacle Bank Papillion, it'll be Imig, Apgar, and Levicki hitting into the heart of the order with the lumber coming up.
Yeah,
but
Holscher's just
4-run lead for Missoula is
he's out of gas.
A very secure lead. And there's
he's out of gas.
Ball 4. And Holscher on fumes here, as Oliver points out.
His arms are just hanging there. His shoulders are down. He's just he is on the last bits of energy that he's got.
2 out, 1 on. Brett Holscher fires. It's just off the plate for ball 1.
And there's
Missoula with a very comfortable 4-run lead. We expect Cole Truglio to come back out on the mound for the 7th inning. He will be eligible for a save because when he came in with the bases loaded in the bottom of the 6th inning, it was a 5-2 ball game. So Truglio can get the save. Finn Davis is in position to get the win for the Missoula Mavericks this afternoon. Got a big "Come on Mavs" from one of our
and we've got
fans.
And we've got the stolen base leader for the tournament in the chat too. It's Ben Hassett.
Okay.
Well, he's tied, but yes.
Count is now 2-2 to Brennan Lab, the hitter. Lab trying to get on base, advance the runners. He swings and misses at what I thought was strike 3.
It was 3-1.
It was 3-1.
That was my count.
The scoreboard operator is not in alignment with the home plate umpire there. Count now full, 3-2. Now there's a pop-up out of play.
Hey kids, watch out.
And the kids will chase it down.
It's a cart shot, a track shot, or whatever.
The kid got the ball. I think that kid's got quite a few balls so far in this tournament.
Got heavy pockets.
Here comes the, well, he always returns them right away.
Oh, but he has quarters now.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I didn't know quarters could weigh your pockets.
They do. They go jingling-ling.
No, they're not heavy. They're not heavy. 3-2 now.
What are you talking about? You had like
Full
$23 in change
Yeah,
in your
I
car.
did. I did. Yep.
That's heavy.
I don't think I had
Your
any. I don't
mileage.
think I had any change in my rocker panels. Here comes the 3-2 pitch with 2 out and a man on. That's swing and a miss, strike 3, and that will likely do it for Brett Holscher, who is headed
Yeah,
to
he's
the
holding on his hip
Nebraska
there.
Cornhuskers next year.
Well,
He
no.
records 9 strikeouts in the game, holds Missoula to 6 hits, but he stands to be the losing pitcher right now. To recap the top of the 7th inning, Missoula does add on an additional insurance run thanks to a single and a double, a leadoff double. There were 2 hits. There was 1 error committed. That was part of what allowed that extra run to score for the Missoula Mavericks. And there was 1 man left on base through 6.5 innings of play at Fitzgerald Stadium. On an absolutely gorgeous day for baseball, it is 6-2 in favor of the Missoula Mavericks, with huge implications resulting from this score. If Missoula is able to nail down this victory and they're leading by 4 in a non-save situation going to the bottom of the 7th, then we are going to see Bellevue West clinch a trip to the championship game with a 4-1 pool play record. The Thunderbirds are done for the day after blowing out South Kingstown, Rhode Island 16-3 in the game before this one. And now we'll get to action here. Truglio's first pitch over for a strike at the waist to Tanner Apgar, who leads things off. Apgar very dangerous with his power with men on base, but he's hitting here with no one on base. He quickly swings at the first 2 offerings and falls down in the count 0-2.
It's either a K or a solo shot at the bus. That's one or the other.
Cole Truglio now with the 1-0-2 pitch, and that's a swing and a miss, strike 3, and Apgar generates a lot of wind but fails to make contact, and that will be 1 down to start the bottom of the 7th inning. Here comes Trent Levicki. Levicki 1 for 2 today with a single and a run batted in. Cole Truglio getting closer to a save. Here's a pitch over for a strike. T-Birds look like they're going to reach the championship game tomorrow, and the door looks as though it's swung wide open for the post 22 Hard Hats.
And for Missoula, I mean,
well,
Hard Hats
Hard
wide
Hats
open.
control their own destiny, and that's the key thing.
Missoula's
going to need some help. There's a ball hit up the middle. That's a base hit from Trent Levicki against Cole Truglio, the first man to reach base against Truglio today. Up next is Parker Ingram. Ingram 0 for 3, looking to pick up his first base hit of the game. Ingram has had some impressive triples earlier in this tournament.
I see.
Here comes the first pitch from Truglio to Ingram. That's over for strike 1. What do you see, Albert?
Coach Caldwell, the Expos head coach, talking with the post 22 Hard Hat staff about this. This has to feel therapeutic for him.
Here comes a throw down to second. That's a stolen base by Levicki. 1 run doesn't mean too much. You're going to need 4 runs, but it does break up a game-ending double play to steal that base. So there's a stolen base for Trent Levicki, and it does keep this game a little bit more alive. It's good for what you call the competitive circulatory system. It keeps Pinnacle Bank going here a little bit more. Count now 1-2 to Parker Ingram. Cole Truglio nods in approval. He's ready for his 1-2 pitch to Ingram, and that pitch is just off the plate for ball 2. Pinnacle Bank needing a miracle here. Pinnacle Bank does not rally for 4 or 5 runs here, they will fail to capitalize on their win and you're in situation and drop to 3-2 in full play. You mentioned the Expos, Oliver. The Expos beat Missoula.
They make a triangle here.
And not only that, but because Missoula didn't win, that helps the parent club, you might say, the big boy, big brother club, the Hard Hats. Here's a throw across the mound. Reimers jumps for the ball, gets it, applies the tag to the chest for the second out. And Reimers has just been dynamite at first base. He has been what you call gold glove material at first base throughout today and throughout this entire tournament. Now here comes Ryan Thompson, the last hope for the maroon and gold of Pinnacle Bank Papillion. Levicki takes off for third.
Yep.
There's a
come on back.
And Levicki will jog back to second base. Well, opportunities not capitalized on can really haunt a team. Pinnacle Bank in a win and you're in situation.
Oh.
And they are just trying to stay alive. Levicki on the move will come home with a base hit, recorded by Thompson. That's Thompson's first hit of the game, first RBI of the game. And for the second time in 3 innings, Pinnacle Bank Papillion scores a run as Trent Levicki able to race home from second base with the 3rd run of the game for the boys from Sarpy County, which happens to be the same place where the Kansas City Royals AAA Omaha Storm Chasers play. And now here comes Evan Eddy. Eddie's first pitch, just off the plate. You're pointing. I don't know what you're pointing
There's a pinch runner.
Oh, there's a pinch runner. Thank you for Ryan Thompson.
Yep, Dylan Warnley.
Dylan Warnley is the pinch runner here in the 7th inning for Pinnacle Bank Papillion. With Pinnacle Bank Papillion down to their final out and trailing by 3 runs here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Cole Truglio, 2 strikes away from a save. Here comes a pitch. That's a swing and a miss. It's tapped, and now the count 1-2. Cole Truglio and the Missoula Mavericks are 1 strike away from winning a giant game here in day 4 of the Firecracker Classic. Here comes the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3, and that'll do it. There's a flip by one of the infielders for the
wow.
the Missoula Mavericks.
He emoted
that
on
was
us.
actually Coulter Nicolarsson with a full body Ozzie Smith-like wizard flip to celebrate the victory for the Missoula Mavericks, and the door is open for the post-22 Hard Hats, coached by Kelvin Torvey. If they can get a sweep against Pueblo Azteca and Omaha Skutt Catholic Skyhawks, then we will have a championship game tomorrow between Bellevue West, who just qualified a moment ago for the championship game tomorrow afternoon. What a impressive victory against a future Power Conference ace, left-hander Brett Holscher, who strikes out 9 Mavericks but is the losing pitcher today. And Missoula with 3 runs in the top of the 2nd, featuring a pair of back-to-back triples and then a trio of doubles by Missoula in the top of the 6th inning, rolls to a 6-3 victory. To recap the bottom of the 7th inning for Pinnacle Bank Papillion, they score 1 run on 2 hits, a pair of singles. There were no errors. There was 1 man left on base, and the game ends in favor of the Missoula Mavericks from Western Montana. Missoula 6, Papillion Bank 3. Papillion Bank and Missoula finished tied in pool play with 3 wins and 2 losses. Again, congratulations to the Bellevue West Thunderbirds They have clinched a trip to the championship game of the Firecracker Classic tomorrow with a pool play final record of 4-1 after splitting their games earlier today. And now the question is out there. Who will play Bellevue West in the championship game? Before we sign off, let's let Oliver kind of analyze things with a look at the standings.
So the standings right now, these are a little outdated. They don't account for this game. But just imagine that Missoula now in the 4 spot. Pinnacle moves beneath them to the 5. And the Hard Hats now sit in 2nd. They just got to win both games. That is a tall order. They have to play 2-2 Scott and 2-2 Azteca. Both of those are tough teams. The Hard Hats have already played Pueblo Azteca, won by a lot in their house. And then the Scott team, that one, kind of a wild card. They've been up and down in this tourney. But 2-2, currently in 6th place. That's where it stands. Pinnacle Bank out. No way that they could get in anymore because Missoula 3-2 has the head-to-head advantage. And then we've got Pueblo here. If Pueblo were to upset the Hard Hats, they could sneak in. But only if they have a low number of runs allowed. Missoula's number going to shrink slightly since this was made, allowing 3 runs over 7 innings. And in the event that it comes down to Azteca versus Mavericks, where the Azteca upset the Hard Hats and it's 3-2, then it will be really, and a whole bunch of 3-2 teams, then it'll be really close as to see who wins that. But the ideal situation for the Mavericks is that Azteca lose, Scott wins, because they have a way better number than Scott, and they didn't play them, and that would put them through. But the Hard Hats control their own destiny.
Here's the situation in a nutshell. DC Electric, Bellevue West Thunderbirds from the Omaha metro area, they are in the championship game. 4 teams, as Oliver just told you, are still alive, including the post-22 Hard Hats, who are the only team remaining that controls their own destiny. We bring you Game 5 and Game 6 coming up next. Oliver Fell with the play-by-play, the voice of Hard Hats TV, coming your way with 2 big games that will determine who will play the T-Birds tomorrow for all the marbles. For Oliver Fell, this is Mike Fell saying thanks for watching our final score in Game 4 of Day 4 of the 49th Annual Firecracker Classic. It was the Missoula Mavericks 6, the Pinnacle Bank Papillion-La Vista Team 3. Good afternoon from Rapid City, South Dakota.
Great game. You were so pulling for Papillion that entire game. The whole thing.